Hello all, welcome back to Learning Partner. If you are new, please do subscribe. This is another channel where you can directly connect with me. We have around 1000 plus members already who are working. We take live coding sessions and everything. To just get notified about those sessions, please do join this group. Fine. So in this video, we are going to complete an e-commerce application. Now, whenever we talk about e-commerce application, there are actually two modules. So first is the admin module, from where we create product categories, where we can see all the add to cart item, order list, customers, everything we can see. I forgot customer over here. Customers we can see. So this is admin, means this will be the application who normally vendors or the e-commerce application owner will be using. Correct. From there, they are going to do all the CRUD operation. They will be creating category, they will be creating products. They can see all the add to cart item orders and everything. Correct. Then we have a website model where that is a front end side for the e-commerce application where actual customer they are going to use the application. So when we talk about website model, so we will have product listing. So we just have to show the product. Then we should be able to filter the product. You take any e-commerce application, you might have seen this. You will get to see all the product by price, by category, by rating. You will be able to filter it also. Then obviously it's an e-commerce application. You are going to purchase something. So obviously you need to reveal the identity. So for that you need to register and then log in also. So registration and the login part will be also there. Once user is successfully log in, he will be able to add to cart also. Correct. Then once he add to cart, on the now bar you will have something pop up like that where you will be showing all the add to cart item, whatever the products he has added to the cart, that cart will be visible over here. Then once he moved to the final, once he decide like these are the items I want to go ahead with, so we will have a place order button. So checkout button. So checkout, create order, or we can call it as a checkout, where user will actually make a purchase of the product by entering the address detail and everything. And we can have one more page that is my order. So here we can show all the previous orders, correct? With the current one. So these are the these are the various module which we are going to complete. Admin module, I have already created one more video. So there you can see that I will be providing the description link of that video in the description. In this video, we are going to complete the website part. But this video we are going to do with Angular 18. So as almost everyone knows, like now after Angular 17, we have got Angular 18. From Angular 17, almost new things are there. Angular 18 is the stable one with the new things, right? So we are going to use all the new things, whatever we have. Instead of going with the traditional directives and everything, we will use whatever new have. So it's just an e-commerce application. We might be needing at the rate, if at the rate for signal, we will try to use. Again, routing, we don't have such much changes, but whatever new things are there, we will try to use it. Fine. Now, so just to give a start, now this is the template which we are going to use. This template is already available in my GitHub repo. So you just have to go to Void Chetan repo, and inside that YouTube project template. Here you will find all the HTML code, whatever I use in the project. Now that whole code is already there. The reason why I don't create a HTML part in the video, because video will take so much time if we start designing, because that is not our main agenda, because functionality what we should focus on. So that's why I create the UI first, so that in the video I will be just talking about the functionality, and this UI do directly you can use. Then API. So obviously e-commerce application, so we cannot do the e-commerce application with JSON file or local storage. Obviously we have to rely on the API. So freeapi.miniprojectideas.com. Here you can hit it. You will find the swagger of my API. And inside that, so many API projects are there, but you just have to follow the big basket one. It's just a name. But whenever we talk about e-commerce application, what the product you are inserting, that becomes the application. So it is just a big basket controller name I have given. But here you will be able to see all the API which we need for the e-commerce application, starting with get all product, get filter, get all product by category ID, add to cart, get all cart item, place order, for login, registration, customer login, everything's are there. So these are the APIs which we are going to use. Now, coming back to this, I have created the project. Now, let me just explain you what things I have done till now. So to create new project, we have to write an Angular CLI command ng new, then project name. And then it will ask you two questions, whether you need a CSS or not. So you can go with CSS, and then it will ask you, do you need a server-side rendering? So you can simply say no. Fine. So this is just a basic thing I have done. Means if you are following this video, I think like I will consider like you already know the basic concept. You are not fresher, or you are not seeing this for the first time. So that's why I don't cover that. Then once we install the package.json, once we create the project, the next thing I have installed Bootstrap and Font Awesome. So here you can see these are the libraries. Let me show you the command also. Node. So these are the command npmi bootstrap and npmi Font Awesome. So these are the two external libraries which I have installed. Once you install those, you need to add the links of that bootstrap and the Font Awesome into angular.json. So here you can see in package.json I have it, and in the angular.json in the style section we need to add it like this. Fine. So this is just the initial thing I have done. Now, so as we decided, we are going to complete just the website part. So first thing, like how many components we are going to need. So first, like this is a website part. Obviously, we are going to complete the website model. So it's a website part. So we have a by default app component is there. So now this app component is our parent component. So we can use this app component to keep our navbar. So our navbar will go into app component. After that, product listing page. So we will create one component, products. Fine. In this component, we will be showing all the products. Then filter also, again, we will have in this component also at the top, we can show categories, and on click of category, we will filtering it also. If you see this UI, so we can show the categories over here. And if we click on particular category, that product should be displayed over here. Then register and the login. So for register and login, either you can create a separate component, or you can do the registration and the login part in the model pop-up as well. So for registration and the login, we will be using model pop-up. Fine. Then add to cart, again, just on a click of it, it will be getting add to cart. Then create order. So for order, we will need one more component, and my order, where we are going to show all the previous orders. So only three components we are going to need: product, create order, and my order. So first we will create the components now. Let me just close. So now in the app folder, first thing you need to create a folder, and we can call it as a pages. So why pages? Because whenever we also work in an industrial project, so the components which are going to be connected with the route, so those we keep it in a folder that we call it as a pages. So in this folder, I'm going to create my component. So ng generate component products. This is the first component which I'm going to need. Since it is Angular 18, so from Angular 17, we have got standalone. We don't have app module. So all the components are by default standalone. So here you can see standalone true. One more component we are going to need, that is create order. Enter. Second component which we have created. Then third component, my order. Here we are just going to show all the previous orders. Let's enter. So we have created three components. So once you create the component, what should be the next way? What should be the next step? Obviously routing. So because Angular is a single page application, to achieve multiple page based navigation, we have to implement the routing. So when we create the basic project, we get a file approute.ts. In previous version, we used to have this as a model file, but now it's just a constant file, right? Are you able to see? Even if you remove this also now, just this will give you error, but here you can use the any. So it's just a constant file, normal constant file. Now here we need to create the routes. So route, whenever we say about route is route is nothing but an object. It will have certain properties. So see, if I press Control space, these are the various fields I have in the route. What field I need? Path. So first I'm creating empty route. So that will have path as empty. Redirect to. If it is empty, where I should navigate? So let's say home. Then path match strategy we need to use, that too with full. So this is my default route. Means if I don't have anything in the URL, it will redirect to the home path. Now in home, we have to create a route which is having path as home, and components which will be opening is products. So by default, our product component will load. Then we have one more path, then create order. Component will be create order. Why it's not suggesting create order? Correct only create. Yeah. Then one more component we need, that will be my orders. So let's copy and paste it now. My order. Fine. So this we have created three component and three components routes also created. This is just an extra route, which is the default route. Let's try to save and now run. Now, one more thing, if you are going to use my API, you need to run the project on particular port number, that is 4209. So just open a new terminal and run the project on 4209 port. So ng serve -- port 4209. So by default, our Angular application run on 4200. But if you have to run the application on specific port, so this is the command, enter. So my application will run on 4209 port. Let it run. Let's try to access it now. Localhost 4209. So you can see by default, this Angular page is also visible and we are by default navigated to the home tag and product component is visible over here. Now, this is the basic content we get when we create the project. So let's get rid of that. In the app component, we have it. So let's remove everything. Now, as I decided, app component we are going to use to keep our navbar. So as from the template, I'm going to use this navbar. So whatever the template we have now, we are just going to use that. So this is the navbar. So let's copy. Let's paste it over here at the top. Let's save and let's see if we are able to render. Let's check if we are able to see. So now you can see it is visible, but why color is not coming? Let's see. This navbar is there, background color is also there, but okay, not mandatory. Let me just add a not mandatory sign. Not important. Fine. So now you can see that navbar is visible. Fine. Next thing, now API integration. For API integration, we need to create service, interface, class, and everything. So let's start that. So API integration we have to start now. So once this product component load, we need to call our get API and whatever the products we have that we need to showcase. So for that, let me just again go to mini project API. So in big basket, you can see get all product API is there. So let's try to execute it. If I click on it, try it out, execute button will be there. And on click of execute, we can test that API. So you can see this is my URL. And if I hit this URL, this is the data I'm getting. Somewhere, so many people have imported this directly base 64 also. Oh my God. Let me just get rid of this base 64 image. I have cleared the database where base 64 image was there. So let's try to execute. Now our API should be fast enough. Yeah. So now you can see proper data is coming. Now, this is the API which we want to integrate, and whatever the data we get from this API that we are going to show into the card format. So if you see the response of the API is like this object, and in the data you will get the actual array. Now, all the APIs are going to be having some common URL. Means API instance is going to be common up till over here. Just the method name is going to change. So we are going to create service for that. So first API call, whenever we say API call, so API call we should write in the service. So in app folder, we have to create service folder. And inside this service folder, we have to create a service. We can make the API call into component also, but making API call into component, it's not a good thing. We should keep our API call into our service. So let's open a new terminal. Now, how do we create a service? Again, using Angular CLI, ng generate service, our service name. Let's say product or master. It's not, we don't have so many API calls. So we will just create a master service and all API call function we will create over here. Let's create a service now. So this is the service. Now in this service, we are going to make the API call. So a good way is will be, so if you can see up till now, this will be our common API call, common URL in all the API. So we can keep this in a single variable. So in the service variable, I will create API URL colon string is equal to this. Okay. So I have created a single variable. Now we are going to make a API call. So API call will be with the HTTP protocol. So if our APIs are with HTTP protocol, so we have to use HTTP client library. So to use HTTP client library, now this is Angular 18, but previously we used to have app module. In app module, we used to register HTTP client module, but that we don't have. That is deprecated now. So now in app config, we have provider section. So here provide HTTP client you need to add. Then only you can make the API call. So this is the first step you need to do. Let's close it. Now, in the master service, we have got the constructor. So here, by using dependency injection, we will create instance of our HTTP client service like this. Let's create an API call function. So let's say get all products. Now, from this function, we are going to make the API call, and whatever the data we get, that we are going to send it back. So this dot HTTP dot get API call. So for get API call, we just need to pass the URL, and whatever the response we are going to get, that we are going to return it also. So that's why return keyword. Now this is our API URL. So our API URL will go over here plus concatenation our method name. So what is our method name? Get all product. So this we have to put it over here like this. So this is our normal API call. This is very basic code. Now, how do I make this code proper? Means I need to specify what type of data I'm getting. So if you see, the response of the API call is like this: message, result, and data. These three fields I'm going to get. So let's create interface of this. So in app folder, I will create a model folder. And inside model folder, I will create, let's say, product.ts, a simple TS file. And inside this TS file, I will create my interface. And this is going to be API response model. These are the fields I'm going to have with data type string, comma. This is also going, result is going to Boolean. So colon, Boolean value. And data, it can be anything. Sometimes we can get array, sometimes we can get object. So that's why here I'm keeping at any. Let's remove the single quotes. Why it is giving error? Colon is missing. So this is our first interface which we have created. Now our API is going to return the data type of this model. So let's add it over here. So this function, data typing, properly strongly typing, this function is going to be return the data type of observable, because we are going to return the data type of observable. So let's import the observable first. It will come from Rxjs. Observable of type this, our interface. This type of data we are going to return from this function like this. We need the import also. Let's add it. Now, once you provide the return type, now after get, you need to provide the data type also, like what type of data you are going to get like this. Got it? So this should be your proper API call function in the service. Doesn't matter if you are preparing for machine test or if you are just practicing, try creating API call functions like this. Fine. Now, if you see, we have created service, and in service we have created one function also. Now this function we have to integrate into our product component. So let's go to product component. Now on the load of this component, we need to call our API. So for that, we need to import on init lifecycle. Let's implement on init. And once we implement, it will ask us to create ng on init function. Now we have created our master service. Now this service we have to integrate into our product component. So in Angular, from Angular 16, actually, we have got that something inject. So this is a normal way to create an instance of our service. That is what we call as a dependency injection. But new way is by creating in, what do we say? By using inject. Master service is equal to inject. What do we need to inject? Master service. Right? Import has been automatically added. So like this. So this is the new way. This is equivalent to this, what we used to do with constructor. Fine. Now let's create a function get, let's say load all products. For every specific thing, you should create a specific function. We can write the API call in NGONet also, but that's not right. We should create an extra function. Then this function, we will call it over here. Now in this function, this dot master service dot, only one function is there currently, get all user. This function is going to return a data type of observable. See, observable type. So a function which is returning observable, we can subscribe to that. Result colon. Now what type of data I'm going to get? Again, this model only. So let's add a data type over here. Never try to use any, always do create class and interface. Fine. Now, whatever the response I'm going to get, that I need to store it also. So again, this type of data I'm going to get. So we need to create interface of this. So let's copy. Now there are website which will help you to convert it quickly. Convert JSON to TS. Let's open any website. This is our JSON. So see, it has created our interface. Let's copy. Let's create it over here. Export interface. Product list. Fine. Now we have to create a variable to store the product list with the data type of that. So product list colon our interface. Let's add the import and we are going to get array of it. So it's equal to, we will initialize with empty. And whatever the data we get, that we are going to store it over here. So this dot product list is equal to res dot data. Fine. So this is a normal way. Now a new way to do this, because from Angular, let's say all the version, this is the normal way what we used to make the API call and we used to store the data. And this variable, then we will use it in the HTML. But new way from Angular 18 or Angular 17, we have got signal. So let's try to do that. Instead of storing the data into this variable, let's try to create a signal. So let's say, let me just comment this. This is an old way. So product list is equal to signal. Then data typing also. What type of data I'm going to hold? This. So this is what we have created signal. Now, sorry, we need to initialize also. Okay. So this is what we have created signal. This was a normal variable and this is a signal. Now product list is a signal. Now over here, we cannot use like this. So product list, how do we update the signal value? By using set method. This dot product list dot set method. And what we need to set? Whatever the data we get. So data we get in the data property result dot data like this. So this is new thing what you should be following now. Don't try to create normal variable, because in the new versions, whatever we might be getting, Angular team is going to get rid of the zone.js. So you should be familiar with Signal, how you work with Signal. Fine. Now in the HTML. So here we have to show the product. So this is the card design we had. So this card design we need to use. So let's copy. Now over here, let's just add a row column structure. Column, let's say 3, and inside that call 3, we will have the product. And let's wrap this in a container also. Container. And over there, inside that, we will put our row. Now this is the div which we want to iterate. The previous way was we can use star ng for over here, the structure directive. But new way is we can use a normal for loop. So at the rate for loop, like this. Here, whatever the element you want to iterate, that will go inside this. Okay. And here now we have to use the signal. So product list. How do we use the signal? As a method like this? Fine. Now we just need to interpolate the data also. So SRC image, we also get it from the API. So over here, what we will bind? Item dot product image URL will be there. This. Then here we need to show the category. So interpolation item dot category name, something will be there, category name. Then here we need to show the product name. Item dot product name. And here we will show the product price. So let's get the product price also. Where it is product price. Fine. So we have make the API call, and this function we need to call on the page load. So in ng on it, we will trigger this dot this function. So see, in the service, we have created API call function. Then we have created interface also of the product list, whatever the data we are going to get. In product component, we have implemented on init lifecycle. In the on init, we are calling this function. We have created signal, and whatever the data we get, that we are storing into the signal by setting it. And in the HTML, we are using the signal to iterate. So let's save all and let's try it now. So once the page load, it product list, this expression is not callable. Type product list has no signature. Let's try to reload. Yeah. So see, we have got the API call, and whatever the data we got, that we have stored into our card also. So that card is visible. Let's get rid of this pop-up first. We are going to work on that later. Where it is. Let me just comment it for now. So now you can see products are visible, but some products has what do we say, the dimensions very tricky. So let's just adjust that also. And one more thing, this category should be over here. So I think we missed to add the CSS. Let's get the CSS. These are the CSS for our product card. Let's copy, and this we can put it into our product component CSS. Let's say. So now you can see products are coming properly, but we need some space also in between. See, because products are very co-aligned. So let's add a space in PT2 product padding top 2. So now you can see products are coming properly, and it is looking fine also. So images are coming from the API URL only. And some API you won't be able to see because APIs are free. Everyone is using it. Someone might have added wrong URL. So that's why this image is not coming. Fine. Now, so first thing is done. We are able to show the products on the product page. Then we should be able to filter it also. So you can see these are the categories. Fruits and vegetable is there. Snack is there. Cuts and sprout is there. So many categories are there. So if we have to filter the categories, what we can do, as with the UI, how we have done it. Let me just run this. So here what I have done, here I have shown the categories. So either you can show the categories over here, or you can show in the sidebar also. UI doesn't matter. What we need to do, once we click on the respective category, that category product should get filtered. So let's do that. So before that, we should know how many categories are there. Again, we should have an API for that. So if you scroll down, here you can see get all category APIs there. Let's click on, try it out. So you can see these are the categories we have. Oh my God, so many categories are there. So if we show all those categories at the top, it will be not looking good. So let's show the categories in the sidebar. Fine. Now we will just change our structure a little bit. Here I will again create row call to, and in remaining call, we will show our products. So this row, this will go over here, And over here, we will show our category buttons. Fine. So, but again, we need to make the API call. So again, we have to go to the service and we need to make the API call. So service, now I will just copy paste because first time I have explained. So just like this, instead of this, get all category. Now just the method name will change. Let's get the method name, get all category. Remaining thing will be same. Now this function we need to call. Again, this function is going to return data type of this. So let's copy. Let's create an interface of that. Let me just copy paste. Try to understand the copy paste, how you can increase the speed, because whenever you are appearing for the machine test within some specific time, you need to work on that. So if your speed is good, then only you will be able to complete everything. Now, category ID will be with the number. This will be with string, and this will be again with number. And this will be category. Always make sure when you are appearing for the machine test, always create class and interface, because that will make you a good programmer. And in companies are looking for that. That are you aware about strongly data typing? Are you able to create interface and class or not? Correct. Now, so in the product component, we need to call another API. Now, this is the normal way which we have done. Now I'm going to explain the second way by using async pipe. Fine. So let's create a function first, or let's create the what do we say? Our signal, or let's go with the normal way by creating a normal variable. So category, we have to create an observable now. So category list dollar colon observable. What type of data I'm going to get? Array of this category. So this over here is equal to new observable category of this round bracket. Let's add the import. So what we have done, we have created an observable. Now we are going to make use of the async pipe. So instead of subscribing over here, because once we subscribe like this, now we need to unsubscribe also. Let's do that also. Implement on destroy. So whenever you are subscribing in the component, you should always have a destroy ng destroy method also. Ng on destroy. And you have to create a subscription method. So subscription list colon subscription like this. And in this subscription, you are going to push this also. So I'm just again modifying our code, existing code. So this dot subscription dot push. What you need to push? This whole observable like this. Fine. So in this subscription, whatever you are subscribing, that you need to push it over here. Then in ng on destroy means before component get destroy, you need to clear that so that memory leak won't be there. So this dot, let's use a for each loop. What we need to use? The subscription of list. And here element dot unsubscribe we need to do. So this is a problem with normal subscriber. If you are subscribing into the component, this is how you should write. You need to unsubscribe also. But this is kind of a extra code we need to write. To avoid this, we can directly subscribe in the HTML by using async pipe. Okay. So for that, to hold the category list, we have created like the way observable. Now let's write API call function. So this dot master service. Okay, sorry. In this observable, we have to store. So this dot category list observable is equal to this dot master service dot get all category. But get all category returns the data type of API response model. And in the data, we have it. Correct. So now we need, once we get the API call data, we need to map it and we need to send the data only. So either you can do map operator over here, dot pipe, and inside pipe, we need to use map operator, item, item dot data only. So now you can see error is gone. because this function was returning a data type of this in result data message. But here in the observable, what we said, we need an array of categories. So here we have just from that array API response, we have just navigate. We were just picking up data. Now this observable we can directly use over here. So now here we have to show that in the button. So what we can do, let's create a for loop at the rate for loop. This is our observable, and this is an observable. So we cannot directly use what do we say, for loop on the observable. So we have to add a sync pipe. Now, again, the new things from Angular 7, whatever you use, you need to import that. So here you are going to use a sync pipe. So you just import it. Then it will suggest. Fine. Now inside this, we need the button. So button is what we are going to iterate. Class btn success. And here we will show the category name. So interpolation item dot category name we have to show. Let's just try this if it is working or not. Let's save all. Yeah, so buttons are coming. It's not. Why 2 times? Is it multiple fruits and vegetable? So many categories have created. Okay, let it be. I will delete the data after some days. Now, so you can see we have got this many categories. Let's try to delete the records because categories seems to be so much. So many products are because I have the foreign key, so I cannot delete it also. Okay, let it be. So you can see categories are coming, but we just need to format it. So let's just do some little CSS instead of container. We can add fluid because we need the full width. And over here, what we can do, pt2 we can add so that we can have a gap. Let's try margin 1. Yeah. So now you can see our categories are available over here. Let's add some title also. Categories. Fine. So what I need to do, once I click on any particular category, I need to filter the products of that category. So we have one more API for that. See, this is the another API. Get all product by category ID. And this is an API with a parameter. We need to send the category ID. So this API we need to integrate. Let's see the URL, how it should be. Again, it is taking so much time. So see, this is the URL I need to create. So let's go to our service and let's create an API call function. Let's copy paste. So I have already explained. So again, not explaining. So this is the function name. Again, see, if you see like variables I'm creating or the function name I'm creating, I'm using camel case. So you should also follow the same. It should not be your function name and the variable name should be very descriptive. That is what you make. That is what someone will judge you. Okay. And this is the URL. So let's copy, let's paste it over here. Now this function is going to need a parameter because category ID we need to pass. So let's add a parameter, category ID, data type will be number. And this category ID, we need to pass it over here instead of 1, again +1. So see, this is what we did. This is simple concatenation. An advanced way to do this is, let me just copy paste. Let's create a URL over here, constant URL is equal to by using template literal. So here, first we need to concatenate the variable. So $this dot variable. Then we need the method name. So let's copy this. And after that, again, we need the parameter. So again, dollar curly bracket and category ID. Okay. So this is the old way by we are just concatenating. This is the new way, what we call as a template literal. Now this URL, we will pass it over here. Okay, so wherever you are doing concatenation, try to use template literal, because if you do this, you don't have to prepare. When you are preparing, you don't have to actually learn the JavaScript concept again and again, because if you are using it daily, you will be in a better position to explain it clearly. Fine. Now, so we have created this function. Now on click of this category, we need to call that API. So let's create a function. On the button click, get product by category, and we need to pass category ID over here as a parameter, item dot category ID, because that's only what we need. So we are passing category ID. Let's create this function. Now this function is going to have the parameter ID colon number. Now from this function, again, we have to make the API call, and whatever the data we get, that we are going to store into this variable. So let's write the normal API call. So this dot master service dot, this is the function what I have to call, ID dot subscribe result colon API response model, like this. And whatever the data we get, we will store it over here into like this. So product list only we need to store. Fine. So let's save and check if we are if we are able to filter the products. Let's open the inspect. Let's check the network call. Let me just reload. So on the page load, we should have get all API, get all product API call. See, and get all category also, because we need to show this category. Now, if I click on bakery and cake, you can see ID is going 57, and we are able to see only category products which is having category bakery and cake. Now, if I click on fruits and vegetable, see the second API call with the ID 55. So we are able to see the fruits. So this is how we filter. Again, in the real e-commerce application, there will be so many filter items, means by name, category, sorting, with highest review, price, minimum to max. So many things will be there. But again, this is just the basic thing we are trying to achieve. So with category, we are able to filter. Fine. So this is done. Now, next thing is we need to do the add to cart. But how we are going to add to cart? First, we need to register and log in also. So first we will complete that. So now, before add to cart, we need to complete the registration and the login. Now, as previously discussed, as login and the registration part we can do over here in the nav bar. So here we can have a login and the registration button, and on click of that, we will open the model pop-up, and there we will do it. So let's get the bootstrap where it is, or I think I might have already in the template. Let me just get it quickly. Over here. Hmm. Just I'm checking like if I have that code already. Yeah. So just like this we can do. So let's try to copy this li. Let's put it in our app component. But it is showing over here. So where is this icon? Yeah, over here it is. So let's just copy this and let's paste it. Let's try adding a button first. Button class. Let's save. So now here you can see we are getting the login button. So we will need two buttons, login and the registration. So let's copy that over here, register. We will add just a MX class so that we will should have some space. Fine. So we are able to see login and the registration button. Next thing, on click of login, first we need to complete the registration part. So on click of register, we need to open the model pop-up. So let's use the Bootstrap model pop-up. So this is the Bootstrap model pop-up. Let's copy this div. In the app component only, we need to put it. So at the end, I will keep it and let's call it as a register model or register. Now over here, we should have a registration form. Now, first thing, on click of that button or on click of this anchor tag, we have this button, sorry. So on click of this button, first we need to open the model pop-up. Now, so in Angular, whenever we have to interact with the HTML element, so this is nothing but an HTML element. On this button click, we need to just add a dynamic CSS to this. One way is by directly getting the DOM instance by document.getElementById by ID also you can do it. Another way is, the advanced way is, you should create a view child. So let's create click function on register or open register model. Fine. Let's create this function. Now we have to create a view child. So let's create a view child first at the rate view child. We have to import it. View child. Oh, it's not suggesting. Yeah. At the rate view child, round bracket, and here we need to provide the hash value. So let's say register model. And this value we have to pass it over here as a hash property value. Fine. So we have added the hash property over here and we have passed that over here. And then register model colon view child. Oh, sorry, data type will be element ref. Element ref. Now it will show us the error of initialization. Let's add the new element ref. How do we initialize it? Okay, let it be. We will add undefined check for it. Still it is giving error. Accept few parameters. I think I missed unsupported call function view child. How do we create view child? I forgot now. Okay, capital view child. Fine. So it's not a small one. Let's try to remove this undefined. It will give you the error. Fine. So we have created a view child. Now what we need to do, on click of this register button, we need to add a dynamic CSS to this particular div. So we have created a view child. So we can get an instance of that. So this dot register model dot native element dot style dot display is equal to, when we have to display it, so we have to add block CSS. Let's add a null check if this particular model is there. Still it is giving error. Left hand assignment should not be an optional property. Let's remove this. Fine. As we have added a null check, so it won't ask you to add the question mark. So now on click of a button, our model pop-up should open. Let's try that first. So if we click on register, you can see model pop-up is opening. And over here, we need to close it also. So just like this, we will need one more function to close it. So close register model. And here instead of block, we have to add none CSS. And this function we need to call on that cross icon and the button click also. Let's copy this and over here also. Fine. So this is the right way to open a model pop-up in Angular using Bootstrap. See, now we're able to close it also. Now inside this, we should have a form. Let's see the API first. Sorry. So this is the information we have. So name, mobile number, and password. Customer ID will be a primary key, so we don't have to showcase in the form. So let's design a form. So over here, dot row, call, let's say 12, label, name, and we will need a text box. So input, class, form hyphen control, name is there. Let's copy paste. Then we have email, mobile number, and password. Fine. So our form is there. Let's try and save. So field is opening. Now what we need? Save login button or register button. So here after the close, we will have a register button. Now on register function. So let's create this function. Fine. Now on click of register, we need to call our API. So again, API call is there. So we have already created a service. So we need to make the API call. So let's copy it. So register new customer function name, and we are going to get the object. So now again, this kind of object we are going to need. So let's create a class of this. So till now we have created interface, but whenever we are binding object to the form, so always go for the construct a class because we have the constructor over there. So export class customer curly bracket enter. Let's remove this. Let's remove this colon number. Then this will be with colon string. Or semicolon only, I think. Let's copy. So we have created our constructor, sorry, class. But all the properties are having some warning like these are not initialized. So it's a class, so we can have access to the constructor. So let's create constructor. That's why I go for the class whenever we have to, whenever we are going to bind this with the form. So this dot customer ID is we will initialize with 0 because that's a primary key. Mobile number is equal to empty. Name is equal to empty. This dot password is equal to empty. Okay, so now you can see error is also gone. Now let's just close everything. Now inside this app component, we need to create an object of that. So register obj, and it will be a data type of customer model. So it will come from over here. And it's a class, so we need to initialize with like this. So what it will does, it will initialize that constructor and all the values will be by default initialized. Now we are going to use template form. Again, just to save the time, I'm going with template form, but if you are comfortable, if you have time, just go for the reactive, but because that's what you should do. Template form is very easy. You should not use that. Now we are going to use template form. So obviously ng model. So we need to import forms model in the import statement. Then we have this form. So on every form, we need to add our ng model. Register object. dot. Let's copy this one more 2 times over here and over here. So here we need to bind name, and here we need to bind mobile number, and here we need to bind password. Fine. Now on click of register, we have to make the API call. I think we didn't complete the service. Yeah. So here we are going to get the object, and that too of the data type customer, like this. Then here we just need to pass the URL. So that is register customer. So this method name will go over here. We don't need this parameter and everything. So let's get rid of it. So this is going to be our URL, but our API call is post. So whenever you are making API call, always check, is it a get method or post method, whatever mentioned over here, like that only you have to use. You cannot decide by yourself. And for post API, we need to pass two parameter, URL and the object. So object we are going to get with the parameter. Fine. So this is your post API call. Now this function we are going to call in the button click on this function. Again, service object we need to create. So master service is equal to inject master service, like this. And over here, we need to make that API call. So this dot master service dot on or register new customer. This is the function. Now this function needs a parameter, nothing but this object. So this dot register object we need to pass. Then again, this is going to return a data type of that response model. So we can subscribe, round bracket, result, API response model. Now, over here, you need to see one more small changes there. So till now, we have just integrated get API. So all the API, my all API will return a particular response, result, message, data. So result is the property you need to add a check. If result is true, means API call is success. And if it is fail, if API call is fail, you will get false value. And what was the reason why API got failed? You will get it in the message. So you just need to add a small check if result, sorry, res dot result is true. If result is true, we will showcase an alert box and we will say user registration success. Something whatever you feel so. And once registration is success, we need to close the model also. So this function we can call it over here. So this dot close registration model over here. And if result is false, it will go to the else block, and in else block, we will show the message, whatever we get from the API side. So message like this. Fine. Let's just add a debugger. Whenever you are writing the code for the first time, you should add a debugger and check everything. In service also, I'm just adding. Fine. Let's just save all and let's check if we are able to register. So in my API, mobile number is unique. So if you pass the mobile number and that is already exist, you will get error. And one more thing, don't pass your original mobile number. Fine, because APIs are open, everyone is going to see that data. If you say get all customer, you are going to get all. I clear it in some particular interval of time, but still don't pass your original mobile number. Now, okay, sorry, here we need to do it now. So let's click on register. Let's say name test dummy, mobile number, let's say 2233441122. Let's catch it and put it over here because we have to log in also. Password I'm using 112233. So this is the user we are creating. Let's see the API call now. Source on click of register. So first function we have called is from app component. So here, if you hover on the register object, you can see we have got it. Once we continue, it will go to our service. And over here, you get the parameter also. From here, actually, we are making the API call. Let's continue. So now we have got the response also. So in result properties true means API call is success. So we will show the alert box and we will close the model pop-up. Got it? So registration part is completed. Next thing, as user is successfully registered, we need to allow him to log in also. So whatever the thing we have done for the registration, just like that, we need to do for the login also. So this is the registration model. Just like that, let's copy. Let's create one more, and this will be login model. In case of login, what do we need? Let's check the API one more time. In login, we have update profile API also. In case you need to change the username and the password, so you can do that. Let's try it over here. Username, I think mobile number we need to pass. Let's try mobile number over here and password 112233 over here. Let's click on execute. Yes, so see, whatever the user we have created, we are able to get it. So this is the object which we need to pass. So let's create interface of that again. Where was it? Product over here. Let's copy this. First time if you are creating it, okay, but next time you can just increase your speed and just do the copy paste. Now what do we need? Username and user passwords. Both has the data type string. Username and password. Now we have created our class. Now same this model we have to create into our app component. Just like this, login obj colon login model. Let's add the import is equal to new login model round bracket. And just like these functions, we need to create two more functions for login. Open login model, close login model. Now, just like the view child of registration model, we have to create for login also. What is the hash property we have given? Login model. Let's copy. Let's paste it over here. This will be login model. This only we have to use it over here. Correct? Now, this function we need to call on the login button. So this is the function. So click login. And over here, we need to bind our login object. So that will be this login object. Login object, we just need two fields, username and password. Here we will say login. Fine. And over here, we need to bind our closing function. That will be close login model. Over here and over here also. And here we need to create on login function. So I'm just going a little bit fast because same thing we have already done it. Same function will be there. So I'm just copy pasting it. I will change the method name. Over service also we need to create one more function. So just like this, I will create one more function. Here, login model will be there. On login. And our API will be login only. So method name will be login. Again, it is a post API only, correct? So over here on login API function we have to call. And what we need to pass? Login object. Got it? Now, in case of login, we need to do something extra. Once user login, we need to store the logged in user data to local storage or session storage or cookie, anywhere you can store. Because how you will know like which user is logged in. So we need to store the data, whatever we get from the API. So instead of showing the alert, we will local storage dot set item. Now key, ecom 18 is the key, comma, complete user object, whatever we get that we will store. From API, we get the object, but while storing, we need to convert it to JSON dot stringify. We need to convert it into string format. So res dot data. Fine. And we need to close the login pop-up. And what else? Yeah, that's it. So let's save. Let's try it if we are able to log in. So on click of login, these are the credentials, mobile number, and the password. I didn't change the button color, but you can do it. Now on click of login, we should see one API call. Okay, we have a debugger. Let's continue. Continue. So now over here in the result, you can see we have got true, and in the data, we have got the whole object. Now this only we are going to store to the local storage. Currently, we don't have anything. If I continue, so here you can see ecommeter. Ecommeter is the key, and we have got the logged in user data. Now, if you see, as we are logged in, but still we are able to see login and the registration button. We should not see this. We should show the logged in username and the logout button. So let's do that. So how do we know that user is logged in or not? So we will use any one model of that, or let's use customer model. So because, or just to keep things proper, we will create one more variable, logged user data, and data type will be this. So if user is logged in on the page load, also we need to check if user is logged in or not, because user can refresh, correct? So let's implement ng on in it. And over here, ng on init constant is user local storage dot get item. We need to read the local storage data. What was the key? Key is this. So let's copy. Let's paste it over here. Whenever we read the local storage data, always add a null check. If we don't have in the local storage data, we will get null over here. So we should add a null check. If not equal to null, then what we need to do, while storing the data, we have stored in the string format, correct? So again, we need to convert it back to the JSON format. So constant parse obj is equal to JSON dot parse method we have to use. So in interview, you might face a question like, how do we actually use the shallow copy and deep copy? So this is way how you do the deep copy. Okay. So now whatever the object we get, that we will pass it over here, and this dot logged user is equal to parse object we need to pass. Fine. So this variable will understand if this variable, in this variable we have everything filled. So if user ID is not equal to 0, means user is logged in. So that check we can use it over here. So now here at the rate if condition. So this dot user customer ID, sorry, equal to 0 means basic initialization is there. So we have to show login and the registration button. But at the rate else, we need to show what do we say, logged in username. So instead of this, instead of success, let's use primary. And here, instead of login, we will show the logged in username. So that too means in this field only, we are going to get the data. Let's show name. And over here, we need to call logout function. Log off. Let's create this function. Now, once we do the log off, what things we need to do? Just create at the top. We need to clear the local storage data. So local storage dot remove item function we need to use. And what will be the key? The key name will be this. Now, if you see, just a quick tip, this word you are using over multiple places. So instead of using it multiple places, you can create a variable. Or again, if you create it over here, it will be used over here only, because same data we are going to need in other component also. So rather than, we will create a constant file. So now in app folder, I will create a constant folder. And inside that, I will create a constant file. Consider something which is you are going to use overall the component. Make sure you keep that into your constant file. So export constant is equal to curly bracket. This should be export. Fine. Here. So first is like local storage key. And whenever you create a constant, keep it in a capital case. Local key colon value will be this same value, ecommeter. We will put it over here. Now, wherever you are going to need the local storage data, local storage key value, you will use it like this. So constant, it just add a import dot local key. So you won't be making spelling mistake. And if you have to change it in a one go, you will change it in a one place only. Got it? So this is kind of a code you should do. Fine. Now we have cleared the local storage. Again, one more thing, we need to reinitialize this model also, logged user data. So this dot logged user data is equal to new. What is it? Customer model only, na? So that is customer, like this. So once user login, we are reading the local storage data. But once user login on the page load, we are doing this. But same thing, this data we need to do once we do the login also. Over here, we need to assign result.data. So these are the things you need to do when you are performing login and the registration part. I know so many things are there, but you have to do it. Fine. Let's just test it also. So why we are not able to see, I think capital small. What we can do, the name is not visible. That's because it from API get my API, you will be getting in a capital small case, and here it is capital. Let's make it small. Small will work. Okay. Just making this only small. Now everywhere we need to make it small. Yeah, that's it. Over here also we need to make it small. Now our username should be visible. See, username is visible. On click of log up, you can see again login and the registration button is visible. If I click login again, username and the password, login. So see, again login is properly working. So we have completed our login and the registration part. Next is on add to cart, we need to hit our another API which will add to cart the particular product with quantity with this user. Then the order process. Fine. So now the next part is the add to cart one. So for add to cart, we already are logged in. So now user should be able to do the add to cart, because logged in user ID what we will be needing to pass to the add to cart. So let me show you the add to cart API. So if you go to Swagger, here you can see this is the API for add to cart. So if you see just the UI, what should be needed for add to cart? The product ID. Let's say I clicked on this. So this product ID, logged in customer ID and the quantity that should be required field. So let's see. So here you can see cart ID is there. Cart ID will be like primary key. Customer ID means logged in customer ID. Product ID, whatever the product ID we are clicking. Quantity, number of quantity and added date. This will be by default. So we just need to pass customer ID, product ID and the quantity. Fine. Now, as per our UI, we don't have way to provide multiple quantity. So by default, one quantity we will pass. Then over here, we can increase it also. Fine. So first, we will write the API call function. So first, we need to create the class for the add to cart object. So let's copy, paste. I know this is like time taking, like every time we have to create class and interface, but make a habit, because this is what you are going to do in machine test also. So if you have it in the daily work also, so it will be very good for you. Product ID, quantity, and added date. That will be the date. Fine. Now we just need to initialize this property. Let's quickly initialize this. Cart ID will be our primary key, so we have to initialize with 0. That too, let's initialize data type with number. Customer ID, we are going to read from the local storage, and then we are assigning it. Product ID, let me just copy paste. Product ID, then quantity, and added date. Added date I will be initializing with new date, current date. Just quantity I will initialize with 1. So this will be number, and here I will say 1. And our class name. So this is cart model. Fine. So we have created a class of that. Now, next thing, service. In service, we have to create one API call, that is the post API. So I will just copy paste this. add to cart, the method name, add to cart. So let's copy, let's paste it over here. This method name will go over here. And over here, we are going to get the data type of cart model over here like this. We need to update the import. Fine. So we have created our class, then we have created function into our service also. Now coming back to our product page. So in product page, we have add to cart button over here. So let's write an event. So click on add to cart. Now this function, what we need from over here, obviously on which product we are clicking. So that ID we are going to need. So item dot, what we are going to pass, product ID, correct? So now let's create this function. So in this project, we are trying to cover all the possible advanced scenarios also. We have seen async pipe, uh, signal also we have used, at the rate if, at the rate for. So these are the new things which we have in Angular 18. So you should be familiar with, because if you are going to for interview, everyone is going to ask you these things because everyone know like what are the basic concept we have. These new things are there, so get familiar with this. Now, so this dot master service dot, which function we have to call? Add to cart. Add to cart will need that particular object. So, okay. Now object, either you can create object over here, constant new obj colon, what will be the data type of this cart model we have to create. Let's provide the data type, import it. Right? So you can see this is a new thing. You might not have seen this. If we have to create the local object, we create const or let, correct? So for this local object also, variable also, we can provide the data type. Now it will just ask us to initialize all the fields. See, it is suggesting. So instead of going with any, by default, if we don't pass it with colon, whatever, so it will be any. So rather than going with any, always you should have it with the strongly data type. So added date, we already have it, but it's a, what do we say, class. So we can initialize that. Let's do that. New cart model like this. This is the better way. Fine. So we have created a local object with the data type of this. And over here, quantity already we have initialized over here one. Cart ID also we have initialized. Just we need to pass customer ID and the product ID. New date also we have already added. So this function we are calling from the HTML and we will passing ID, right? So that ID we will catch it over here, product ID. So new object dot product ID is equal to ID we will assign. Now we just need, why it is saying error? Okay, here we might have said string. Let's make it number. And by default, let's initialize with 0. Fine. And we just need the logged in user ID. So now logged in user ID, we know like it is stored in the local storage that we have already read it somewhere in the app component. Just like that, we will use it. So let's copy this and we can put this over here in the constructor. Let's create constructor like this. Now we need the constant because the local storage key we have already stored. Let's create this variable, that too with customer model. Fine. Now we just need the logged in ID. So this logged in ID will use over here new object dot customer ID is equal to this dot logged user data dot customer ID. So our whole object is proper. Again, I think it is number string problem where it is customer ID is also number. Let's initialize with 0. Fine. Now here we need to, what we need to pass, this object, local object. So we didn't created any global object. So in the local function only we have created object. Now we need to write subscribe result colon API response model. This is the proper code which every company is expecting from you whenever you are appearing for the machine test. You should not use any everywhere class interface you should be able to create, because they will judge you. Like, are you able to create class and interface? Do you know when we have to go for the class or when we have to go for the intercept interface? Correct? So make sure if you are submitting any machine test, all these things should be there. Fine. So if result is true, we will say alert message. I'm using JavaScript alert, but you should use toaster also. There is a library toaster, you can install it and you can show that toaster. That looks very promising. Alert, everyone is going to use the alert. Try to be something unique, correct? Use the toaster and show the message over there. Product added to cart. Fine. And in else, if we face any error, whatever the error message we get from the API, that we will show it over here, result.message field. Let's add a debugger and let's test it properly. Now, what is the customer ID which we have? Let's check it first. In the application, customer ID is 1352. Now, one more API is there to check current customer ID card. So this is that API. We need to pass customer ID 1352 because this is just a recent customer. So we don't have any item in the card. It's empty. Fine. Now, if we try to add, let's say this watermelon, we will try to add. So on click of add, do we have debugger on? Yes. So on click of add, so this function you can see product ID we have got. Then we have initialized our local object, product ID we have assigned, and in customer, oh, why customer ID is okay, small. Okay. Make sure you are using everywhere small case. Okay. Otherwise you will face issue. Let's use like this. This is another way how we can access the data from an object. Square bracket. It is giving error. What we can do, customer ID was capital. Let's make it small. Anywhere else we are facing issue again. Product component only. Dot customer ID. Where is this error? Line number 15. What we have did over here? This line we are facing this error. Products component.ts. Okay. Now app component.html. Wherever we are using customer ID, we just need to make it small case. Yeah. So all are done. Now let's just save all and try. Fine. Now if we try to add to cart, I didn't add the debugger. Let me show you the object. So in the network, you can see add to cart API is there, and this is the payload. Cart ID is 0 because that is primary key. Customer ID also got, product ID and quantity is by default 1, and the current date. So and the response we have got it result property true. Now, if we execute this API on the Swagger, you should be able to see one product. See, one product is there, watermelon. Got it? So for this customer, in his card, one product is already added. Now, once we do the add to cart now, whatever the product he has added to the cart, that we need to show it also somewhere. So for that, we will use this icon. And here we will show how many records are there. And that records also we need to show into the pop-up. So let's do that. Let's close everything. Now in app.html, we had that this, what do we say? HTML was the code was there. Let me just uncomment this. If I save, so you can see this is the cart we have. Now this card should be visible once I click on it, correct? So for that, I think some CSS will be there. Let's make it dynamic. So this show class will be there. If we add hide class, yeah, it is getting hiding. So for this div, we just need to add hide and the show class on the click of this, correct? Now let's try. Where is this icon? Let's add text. white color because that is not visible properly. Yeah, now it is visible. So on click of it, I just need to add a dynamic class to this div. So let's create a click event over here. Show cart pop-up. Let's create this function. Now we need a variable. So one way is we know like this is a simple div. On this div, we just need to add a dynamic class. Correct. This class should be dynamic. So either you can use ng class to do it, or because if you are going to use ng class, now it's a directive. So you need to import common module. So rather than that, you can use property binding, that is class name. Fine, is equal to. Let's create a variable first. Is cart pop-up open. It will be having boolean. By default, it is false. So this variable we will use. If this variable is false, so if it is true, we will have all this class move over here, and else with show, instead of show, we will have hide. See, if this variable is true, for this div, we will add these classes with show, and if it is false, we will have this class. So let's just check. So by default, our variable, our this variable is false. So we should not be able to see that pop up. See, now we are not able to see. Now, if we make this variable true, let's save, that pop-up will be visible. Got it? So we have just added a dynamic class. Now we just need to change this variable over here. This dot is equal to not of this. So I'm not going to use another function. I'm not going to create another function just to close this. So in the same function, it should happen. Vice versa value we are assigning. So this we are already have it over here, and on the click of close also we need it. Fine. So let's just save and test if we are able to do the hide and show of that pop-up. So if we click on close, see, but on click of it, page is rendering, might be anchor tag might be there. Let's get rid of that. Yes, this anchor tag was there. Let's remove it. Fine. So see, we are able to navigate and everything. Now in this pop-up, we just need to show the cart item. So for that, we need to integrate this API. So let's copy this method. Again, let's go to service. Now, one more quick tip. So as you see, we have limited number of API call functions. So it's okay to have a one service call. But if you know there are going to be multiple module, it's a big project. So for every module, you will have different services. Let's say a school application, teacher module will be there, a student module will be there, result module will be there. So you will be creating different services. Got it? But if it is a small application, you can have all the API call function written in a single service file also. That is also okay. Fine. Let's create one more API call that will be get. So let's copy this, paste it over here. This is the function name. Camel case we have to use, and this will go over here. Fine. And here logged in ID, logged user ID will be there. This we will pass it over here. So we have created a function which is going to get us the log cart, whatever the items we have in the current logged in user cart. Now our pop-up is in the app component. So here we have to load it. So on the page load, we need to call it. So again, implements on it is already there. Let's create a API call function. Get cart items, round bracket, curly bracket, enter. So this dot master service dot get card products by customer ID. And here we need to pass the customer ID. Customer ID, we have it already over here in this variable dot customer ID. We need to subscribe, round bracket, result colon API response model. Now, whatever the data we get from the API, we need to store it also. So let's say card data colon Now again, we need to create interface. Let's see what type of data we are getting. See, this is what we are getting. Let's create interface of that. Let's copy paste. Let's copy. I think it is, yeah, it's new. Now in product.ps, we have to create our interface. So this variable, we are just going to hold the array data. So we can go with the interface. Code interface. And this will be cart data. Now over here, cart data square bracket is equal to empty. Let's update the import. Fine. Now whatever the data we get from the API, that we are going to hold it over here. So this dot cart data is equal to res dot data, like this. And this function we need to call once we read the data. So in this if condition, we will call it. Fine. And we have the data over here. Let's interpolate this also in the HTML. So it's a simple table in the tr. So let's use @for loop. I'm not using ng for right now because you should have a habit of using for loop only. So that's why I'm doing with ng for. But so many videos are there, previous project videos there I have used ng for, so you can just refer those. Now over here, here we just need to provide the URL whatever we get. So how we can do that? Yeah, curly bracket. So item dot, what do we need to pass over here? Background image URL. Here we need to showcase interpolation data, product name, item dot product name. Then here we have quantity. So item dot quantity and the rate, item dot price. Fine. Let's just save and check if we are able to see all the add to cart data of the first particular customer. Wait, something is wrong. Let's see why it is not visible. Okay, let's try reload. I think URL is not getting formed correctly. So in the network call, you can see something is wrong over here. So we got this 20 over here, which is wrong. Let's see why. Okay, so we have a space. That's why %20 was there. Now, so you can see this API call is success, and currently we have one product in the cart, so that is visible over here. Got it? Let's try adding one more. If I add this Odisha Rasgulla, so just pay attention. Now we are going to explore one more topic. On click of add to cart API call is success, but that cart, my cart data is not updating. But if I refresh, again we can see the updated cart. But this should not happen. Like, why user will refresh? So once we do the add to cart, same data should be available over here also. So means once we do the add to cart and add to cart is success, again we need to trigger this API call. So here we are going to need a concept of Rxjs, that is subject or subject behavior. So let's create a subject because related to component. If we are executing one component from one event from our product component, we need to execute one function from our app component. So it's a component communication. If something happening in product component, if something happened, then we need to execute something from app component. So to communicate between two components which are not related, we have to make use of the subject or subject behavior, anything. So normally we create subject in our common service. So master service is there. So let's create a subject over here. So let's say on cart added, data type subject, data type will be, let's say Boolean only. We don't need to store some data, is equal to new subject Boolean round bracket. Fine. So we have created a subject. Now in product component, once we do the add to cart, where it is, yeah. So once we are successfully done with the add to cart, here this dot master service dot subject add to cart dot next. Wait, what is the subject name? on add to cart dot next, and we need to pass true over here. Fine. So what we are doing, we have created subject in the master service. Once we add to cart, we are emitting this subject. Okay, we are letting know we are emitting some value with this subject, and this subject we need to subscribe to onto our app component. So in ng on init, we can subscribe to that master service add to cart dot subscribe round bracket result colon boolean. We know boolean type of data we are going to get. So if result is true, if we get true value, so we have to make this API call again. That's it. So once we do that to cart, this observable will execute. And once we execute this subscribe will execute. Again, we will call this. So let's test it now. Now it should work properly. Let's close this. By default, it is opening. False. So just pay attention on the network tab now. So let's add this brew coffee on add to cart. We will have one API. And once we click on OK, now you can see again one more API call is there. So whatever the new API product we have added, that is also visible. So user don't have to reload again. Got it? So this is how we have done. Now in the cart item, we have delete icon also. So we should be able to delete the cart also. Correct? So for that, again, we need to integrate one API, and just the final part will be placing the order. So let's start. Now, so let's say we have added this item into the cart, and let's say user decided I want to remove it. So on click of this icon, let's delete, we should be able to remove the particular item from this cart also. So for that also we have one API. So let me just show you that API. So that will be delete product from cart by ID. So here we need to send the cart ID, not the product ID. Whatever unique, whenever we have to do the delete now, primary key what we need to pass, because APIs are written like that. Fine. So this is the API. Let's just get the URL. So URL should be like this. So let's create API call function. Let's check if it is get or delete. It is get only. So normally again, while creating this is very old API, so I have put it as a get only. But for delete, normally you will have delete over here. So if you see some of my new APIs, you will be able to find the delete and the put also. Fine. So whatever it is over here, just like that. If it is get, just write get. If it is delete, just write the delete. Here, let's copy the get function. Let's copy like this. Let's paste it. Delete. And this method name will go over here. Like this. And here, cart ID we need as a parameter, and this cart ID we will pass it over here. So see, doesn't matter if you change the parameter name also, but code you have to write in a such way that everyone should understand. It's not just whoever has written the code should be able to understand. Anyone can see your code, so he should be able to understand it. So write a way like that. Parameter name, variable name, function name should be very descriptive. Fine. So in the service we have created. Now in the app component, we have this delete icon. On click of this delete icon, we need to remove it. So let's write a click event on remove product. So here we need to write the function, and here we will pass the cart ID because that is the primary key. So item dot cart ID we need to pass. Let's create this function. And here we are going to get the parameter cart ID, which is from UI number. So let's write the API call function where we are going to get the, where we are going to make the API call. So this dot master service dot, where it is delete product from card by ID. This is the function. And here we need to pass the card ID. So this we will pass it over here. Dot subscribe, round bracket result, colon, API response model, arrow function. So once it is success, we need to again call this API so that latest cart item will be visible. So again, here we will add that if else check result is true. We will show the message also like product removed from cart, and we will call this API again because we need to show the updated cart again. And in else, you can show just the error message, whatever we get, result.message like this. Let's just save all and test if we are able to make the API call. So let's just open a network tab first. So just pay attention on the network tab. So let's open the cart. So here, let's try to delete the Rasgulla. If we click on the delete, you can see one API call is there with the ID 16321. This is nothing but the cart ID. If we click on OK, wait, some error is there, I think. Let's see the error. We have got it false. Why we have got it false? Let me just check the cart ID is correct or not. Get all cart item. Okay, cart ID is like this, but we are sending something else. Cart ID only, correct only we are passing. And this we will get it over here and we are passing it over here. So if you see, let's say the first cart item, which is having Tina, that is the coffee. It is having the cart ID 6322. Let's try to delete it. 6322 should go on click of this. But why it is going 16322? From where it is going 16322? Let's add a debugger and check it properly. Let's add a debugger over here. And from API also, I'm not getting the error. I will fix that. Let's just first debug it. On click of delete. Yeah, we are getting 6322 over here. Then we are calling this function. So let's add a debugger over here. 6322. So URL is forming like this. From where we are getting one? Oh, so here you can see we had this static. So let's get rid of this static one from over here. That's why it was appending one at the start. My mistake. So this is what happened when you do the copy paste. You forgot to remove what was unnecessary. Now, if we click on the Rasgulla delete, you can see 6321 API call is there, product remove from the cart, and then again get all products. So you can see from over here, cart of product has been removed. Correct? Now, we should have over here checkout button and then a final thing that we should be able to place the product, place the order along with the whatever the cart item we have. So this we will do now. So next thing is the checkout. That is the final thing. So let me just open my YouTube template. So checkout page is already there, just the UI. So you will be able to find it in the e-commerce app checkout page. Let me run it. So here you can see this is kind of a checkout page we have. So here we will show all the cart item, whatever we have, and the basic information where we want to deliver it. And the on click of place order, we will be actually placing the order. Again, so actually e-commerce application is not without any payment gateway integration, but to integrate payment gateway, again, I need to register as a merchant and everything I have to do. But no one is going to ask you to do that also because everyone knows to register on any payment gateway, we need to provide GST detail, everything. Not everyone can produce that, correct? So that part you can skip. But apart from the payment gateway, every other cycle we have completed. Fine. So let's just start. So we already have created one more component that is create order. So on click of checkout, we are going to navigate to that particular component. So here we have it, right? So after total, here we will show, okay, again, this thing also remaining. Like we need to create the total and we need to show the total price also. Okay, we will do it later because it is just a calculation. So we can do later. So over here, we just need to provide a checkout button. So let's add a checkout button first. So after the TR, let's add in one more TR. or we have a row, I think. Let me just minimize this. Yeah, so let's copy, let's paste it, wall 12, and here we will have the button class primary checkout. Now on click of checkout, we need to navigate to the checkout page. So router link. So again, if we have to use the router link, we need to import it. So wait, not over here in the app component, router link we need to import. Then where we have to navigate. So let's see the route, that is create order. Let's see if we are able to navigate. So if we click on checkout, you can see we are able to navigate to the checkout page. Fine. Now, and once we click on the checkout, we should close this pop-up also, correct? So that we cannot do it over here because it's a directly we are making the router link. So for closing that, we can create one more function, click, and what we need to do, we just need to change that variable to false, where it is this variable to false. Let's see if it is working or not. Because on the button click also, we are doing two things. Let's go back. Let's try it. So on click of open, on click of checkout, see that pop-up is also getting closed and we are able to navigate also. So two things also we have done. Now, so in this place, we need the UI. So let's get the UI copied. So let's copy this and let's paste it into over here. We just need the closing div. Let's save. So here you can see we are able to see the card structure. Let me show you the place order API first. What type of data we need? So this is the API, post API. And here, if you see, we need sale ID, that is primary key. Customer ID will be logged in customer ID, sale date, current date, total invoice amount. What is the total amount? The total of the cart item, discount, anything, and the payment details. Correct. So these things we need. So let's create a class for that. So let's copy. Let's paste it over here. First thing, I will just create a class. Let's just close this. So into product.ts. Let's copy this. Let's paste it over here. And these are the fields which we need. Let's copy. Let's go over here. And all these fields we are going to need again over here also. So just a shortcut I'm explaining how we can do it quickly. So just click on the mouse wheeler button in the mouse and you can just drag and drop this dot you need. Then over here, if we have number, we can initialize with 0 equal to 0. Now you can just replace one by one and semicolon also like this. And wherever we have string that we need to replace with empty. So you can see within just a short span of time by using just copy paste, we are able to replace everything. So that too with this and Boolean with false. Fine. So we have created our order model. Fine. Now just format it. And one more thing, before you submit your machine test, now always do all the files should be properly formatted, because if you format it, it is very easy to understand, or it is in the readable format. Fine. Now, so we have created our order model. Now, first thing, so if we see the UI, these are the things. And here, first we need to show the cart item. What are the cart item we have that we need to show it over here. So in the checkout page, we can again call our API to get all the cart item. So in this create order page, again, we need to make the API call. So we need the login detail. So now here you can see logged in detail. In the app component also, we have stored the logged in detail. Then in product component also, we have stored the login detail. So this kind of code is kind of repetitive. So instead of doing this in all the component, we can put this code into our common service. So let's copy this code and let's go to our service, and in the constructor, we can keep it. And this logged in user data variable also, we can use it over service. So rather than creating or reading the local storage data and everywhere, we are doing that operation in the service. So at a single place, we will have it. Okay. So once the service object first time created, we will have the data in this variable. Now everywhere, wherever we are trying to read the data, instead of this code, what we can do, this dot logged user data is equal to what I can do, this dot master service dot logged user data. Again, it's not mandatory to create this variable also. You wherever you need the logged in data, you can directly use this also. Let's say where we are using here. So you can directly use this also, dot cust ID. This is also fine. But just to keep everyone understandable, I'm writing this also. Okay, so here let's say if we don't create this, we are not creating this variable. We don't need this also. So in this component, product component, we are not reading the local storage data anywhere. But that we have already done in the master service. So you can directly use the logged in data from there. Got it? So you are reusing your code. So that is the purpose of service. Whatever the code that is you are repeating again and again, that you can move it to the service so that at a single place you will have that code reusability. Fine. Then, so now in the create order, we also need that. So here first we need to create the instance of our master service. So master service is equal to inject. What we need to inject? Master service. Then implements on in it on the page load, we need to call it. So implements on in, ng on in it. Let's create a function. Now we have already created that function, same thing. So let's use that in the app component we have created to load all the cart item, get cart item. So let's copy this. Let's paste it over here. And here, instead of logged in user data, we are going to read the data from our master service dot logged user data dot customer ID. Let's add the import. So now you can see we don't have to read that, write that local storage data and everything. Let's create this variable also, card data colon, and card data is of data type where it is go to definition card data. Let's copy this only. Let's add the import. Fine. And this function we need to call on the page load. So this dot this, write this. Now on the page load, we are going to make this API call, whatever the cart item are there that we are going to store it over here. Now you can use this in the HTML to iterate. So if you see the UI, this is the static UI. We just need to make it dynamic. So your order, then this is the border, right? So this we need to repeat. So at the rate for loop, on this we need to iterate. And this div will go inside our for loop. Now over here, src in the property binding, and here we need to show item dot image. Then here we need to show the product name. Item dot product name. Here we need to show the price. Item dot price and quantity. By default, we know we have one quantity, but we can update it also. I will explain that also. Item dot quantity. Let's remove this static one. Let's save and check if we are able to show the products. See, we are able to show the products also. Why it is very small. Let me just see what class we have it over here. H25. If we remove H50. It's breaking. Okay, let it be. UI is not we are focused right now. You can just add a height width so that it will look proper, or let me just do that. So let's remove this class. I think we have it over here since we copied this code now. So in over here only, we should have it, these classes. Where it is, CSS, we don't have it. Main.css. Yeah, over here. What are the classes we need? H25 and W25. Let's search it. We don't have it. Okay, no worries. Let's just write the inline CSS for now. The style, let's say width 100, or width, let's say 100 px, and height also same. Let's save and check how image is looking. Yeah, so this looks fine. Okay, so now here we just need to show the total amount. Total amount means nothing but 30 plus 50, $80 should be there. So how we will calculate that? Now, here we are going to get all the cart items. So we will create one more variable over here. So that let's say total amount colon number, by default initialize with 0. So in this variable, we have all the data or all the product price. So we can use the for loop to calculate it, or you can use the reduce also. Reduce is the proper way, but just those who don't know the reduce, so I will just go with the normal way. So what I do, I will just use the for each loop. In this, on this element, we need to use the for each loop, and inside this dot total amount is equal to this dot total amount plus element dot price. So we will get the total amount over here, and this total amount we need to just showcase over here instead of this static one, like this. Let's just save and check. We should be able to see the total. Fine. Now, so here, this is the form. We need to bind this form with the interface which we have created, class we have created. Where was it? So in product, we have created this order model. So let's create an instance of the object. So let's say order obj colon is equal to new, like this. We need the import. So let's add it. Fine. Now this order object, we need to bind it to our form. So now this form is not inside the form tag, so we can directly make use of square bracket ng model. I'm using template form because video length is already so much increased. So if I go with the reactive form again, it will take some time to create. That's why I'm skipping it. But if you are not familiar with the reactive, I have created so many videos. Just refer any and you can just have an understanding of reactive form and just do like that. So this dot, this is for city, delivery city. Let me just copy paste. We are getting error because we didn't imported our forms model. Now over here we need pin code. Let me just bind it. This will be address line 1, address line 2, landmark. Fine. Since we haven't imported forms module, that's why it is giving error. So let's import forms module. Forms module. So everyone will ask you like, what is mean by standalone? So standalone means this component is independent. It is not dependent on any app module, or since we don't have app module, whatever this component needs will be imported over here only. So standalone, the English word normally what it makes sense to you, that is the meaning of the standalone. Whatever it needs, it has all the imports and dependencies registered in this component itself. It is not dependent on any outside file. Got it? Now, error is gone. Now, on click of place order, we need to call our API. So let's create click function, place order. Let's create this function. Now, in the order, we have got sale date. We can just initialize instead of date. We can just initialize due to current date. Fine. Then Sale ID will be primary key, so that we have initialized. Customer ID, we will get it from the service. So this dot order object dot customer ID, we will get it from our service. In the service, we have local storage data, logged in data, master service dot log data dot cust ID. Fine. Then remaining things we have got just the total invoice amount we need. So that too also we have already calculated. So order object dot total invoice amount is equal to this dot total amount. We need to pass this. Then what else we don't have? Discount, we can make it at 0, or you can add it in your form also. Fine. Then we just have to make the API call. In the service, we just need to create one more API call function. So that will be post. I will just use this on place order. Order model, I will get it as a parameter. Let's get the URL also. Place order. Always try to copy paste. If you make the spelling mistake, you will get the error 500, then you won't understand. So always try to copy paste the URL and the object. Fine. LACE. Now this function we need to call in this function, place order. So this dot master service dot place order, and we need to pass our order object. Subscribe, round bracket result, API response model. Again, it's a post call, so you should add result check. If it is true, we can be sure like API call got success, and we will show order placed successfully. Else, and once order is placed successfully, we need to reload the get all cart item, because cart item will be removed, and we need to reinitialize the form also. So this dot order object is equal to new order model. So we are just reinitializing our form. And if we have error, we will showcase that in our result.message property like this. So let's just add a debugger and see if we are properly preparing the data what it needs. Save all. Fine. Let's try now. So currently we have two items over here. Again, that delete part also you can have over here also. You can add just the delete icon, and whatever the API call we have made over here, that same API call, you can do it over here also. Fine. I'm not again repeating that, but you can do it. Now, let's add the address. Let's say city, Pune, pin code 112233. Let's say near SBI, ATM, something information you can see, plot number, 32, landmark, SBI, ATM. Now on click of place, we should see API call over here. So on click of place, so now our function got called. So in customer ID, we have by default 0, but from service, we will get it. Logged in information that we are updating. Then total amount also we are assigning. So now if you see the object, we got everything. Payment narration is empty, but you can have it. So once I continue, it will go over here. Let's see result property, we got it true. So we are showing the alert box, and then again get cart API we are doing. So now you can see cart item is empty because we have already placed the order. So cart will be empty, and the form is also clear. So now if we have to see how many orders I have, so that will be get all sale item by customer ID. So let me just show you that our ID was 1352. So currently this customer has put only one order. See, got it? And these orders, then admin side, vendors will be able to see all the order, get all sale item and everything. If we click on try it out, here you will be able to see all the orders placed by all the customer, get all order. So you can create the back admin side also. That will complete your whole application, what we initially discussed. Admin module and the website module. All the APIs are there, and API names are also self-explanatory, so you can do it. Fine. So this is how we have completed our whole e-commerce application. So if you open this, wait, why data is visible? Yeah, so data is empty. Again, small thing like no order found and those things you can do. Only one thing is remaining, that is my order. So in my order, you just need to call this API. Where was it? Get all sale item by customer ID. You need to pass the registered logged in ID, and you will get the all order, and you can show it in the component, another component. That's it. It's a simple get API call. So I'm just skipping that because already video length is so much increased. So this you can do. Again, this was a tutorial video with Angular 18, new things, what do we have, which we will come across while working on any project. So that I have tried to cover. So please have an implementation. I'm sure like you will get a proper understanding of Angular 18, what new things are there. Even if you are new to Angular, you will probably get everything if you just follow whatever I have done. I haven't skipped anything. Just the UI part I have already created, because creating UI in the video itself, it's very time-taking process. So that's why I already have that ready. Fine. So that's it. Thank you. Please do like and subscribe. And please do add comments also. It will help to grow my channel. So that's it.